rap at full go. Sipping confidence from a platinum chalice. Beats hit hard like my verses got malice. Melly's high octane, can't stop, won't break. Flows intertwine like a twisted fate. In the club kingdom, head honcho, mixing smooth vocals with rapid fire flow. Blink twice, flash on, strobe light surging. Speakers bound loud, my reign emerging. Word wizardry, conjuring this imagery. Club scene spellbound by lyrical synergy. Dance so crazy, feet all blazing. Voice so smooth, it got us shaking. Clubs on fire, DJs perspire. High on the rock, take it higher and higher. Dance so crazy, feet all blazing. Voice so smooth, it got us shaking. Clubs on fire, DJs perspire. High on the rock, take it higher and higher. Runs an overdrive, then nothing slow. Smooth with the crew, man, rap at full go. Sipping confidence from a platinum chalice. Beats hit hard like my verses got malice. Melly's high octane, can't stop, won't break. Flows intertwine like a twisted fate. In the club kingdom, head honcho, mixing smooth vocals with rapid fire flow.
Okay, hello. Just a moment while I get kind of the last of the setup done. Doing this involves getting my tablet to screen share to my computer, which is a little unusual. It's not something I do very often. So getting that working right sometimes doesn't go so smoothly. All right. So hang on. All right, get the mic cable out of the way. I'm going to do a sound check here. Oh my goodness. It's so atypical for a normal setup. Maybe. All right, you're probably going to be looking at the top of my head for most of this. I apologize for that. Okay, so today, let's get over here and now. Boop. All right, so right, what do I usually say? So this is my there we go. Okay. And actually, yeah. Right on. So what I'm doing today is I am doing my pre-flight planning for a flight this that I'm going to do this week. And so I am a flight student working on my private pilot license, which is the first step, the first license or certification you get when you want to learn how to fly. In most cases, there are some exceptions, but that is not important now. So more specifically, I am not an instructor. This is not an instructional video. This is just I'm showing my process so that I can go back later and review it. And then also I welcome and invite anyone to comment on it as well if you see, well, definitely if you see a mistake. But if you see a way that I could maybe streamline the process or make it better. Or maybe there's something that I don't do that I should do, or maybe something that I'm doing that there's really no point to it. That being said, I will qualify something. I will qualify that I I kind of over prepare, and I'm aware of that. And the reason I do that is because as a student, I'm still these skills are not like they're new skills. The knowledge that I'm working with is new knowledge, and so by over preparing, by over explaining, by doing the things over and over again, I'm trying to reinforce those skills as much as possible. So when I'm in the cockpit, when I'm with my instructor, I I literally say, like, my train of thought is spoken, because I want my instructor to have insight into what I'm thinking, because I'm past the point now of learning how to operate the plane, like make it go up, down, left, right. Like I can do that. I can take off, land, all that. That's fine. That's You can get someone to do that in about 20 minutes. It's not that hard. But the rest is decision making, right? And then knowledge, right? So I speak everything out loud so that my instructor knows. She can say, like, if I say, and there's been a few occasions where I'll say, like, oh man, if like this happened and I did this, but if you weren't here, like if I was solo, I would have probably done this instead, because with you being here, I know, like when my instructor's riding with me, I'm like, I know you're not going to let me do something stupid. So if I do something and you don't stop me, that tells me that I'm doing the right thing. I was like, but if I didn't have that security of knowledge, this was a conversation we had at one point. I was like, but if you hadn't been here, I wouldn't have been secure enough to do what I did, and I probably would have done this instead. It seems like the safer choice. And she actually corrected me. She's like, so we did a little bit back and forth, and it turns out that the thing that I did while she was there, yes, was absolutely correct. And the thing that I said I would have done if she hadn't been there, I definitely should not have done. She's like, you carry risk of this other things happening, and it could have made the situation worse. I was like, oh, okay, good to know, right? And so that's why I speak out loud when I'm flying with my instructor. And then again, because I'm trying to reinforce these skills, actually, even when I'm flying solo, I speak aloud, like everything I'm supposed to be doing, everything I'm checking, I'm saying that out loud. If you ride with me, you'll hear me, and you hear me talking. I'm That's not me just telling the passenger or whomever, this is what I'm doing. Like that's what I would be doing anyway, even when I'm flying solo. So and then my preparation is the same way. I say everything out loud. If something happens, if I do something wrong, I can come back later and review, maybe catch my mistakes, or see ways that I can improve. And of course, like I said, I welcome other people to offer that as well. So once again, this is not instructional. This is a recording of my preparation. Seen other people go to great lengths to emphasize, I'm not an instructor. So that's probably very important. And I'm doing the same thing. All right. So with that being said, let's get started. I don't have a flight planned, so I'm actually going to do that like scheduled. So I'm actually going to do that part now as well. I was going to do it earlier, and I decided, you know what, I'll do that as well here. So first thing I'm going to do is look at the map, and that is a lot of rain. We have had a lot of rain in this area lately. Oh man, that's awesome. I absolutely love it. When I started flying, it was one of the greatest things. Was like I love when it rains, and when it's nice out. Yeah, it's nice that it's nice out, but but now when it rains, I love it, and when it's nice out, I also love it, because I'm like, I can go flying when it's not raining, and when it is raining, I like it anyway. So it did it did a lot for my mood. Okay, so this airport, let me see here. I believe I'm not an iPad person, so I will tend to struggle. Bear with me. I know there's a way to write. Oh, you just write. God, what an idiot. All right, here we go. All right, this is my airport, KEDC. Yeah. All right, KEDC. Okay, Austin Executive right here. It is a towered airport. That's why this is blue. Okay. So normally when I fly, where did my little, here it is. Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do, so our training area is, let me turn off what? Nope. There we go. There we go. All right. So this is the airport. That's the alignment of the runway. This is Taylor over here. Taylor has an airport. It's an untowered airport. Um, so this highway here, um, is that a highway? Whatever it is, it's those landmarks. Actually, I really, what is this? I always assumed it was a road. I've never looked closely at it. It's got to be a road. Yeah. Oh, there's train track. Yeah, it is a road. Yeah, I thought it was a road. Anyway, this is I was not well prepared for this. But that's okay. That's why I do it. And then there is these kind of hills, mountainous area here. So this area here is basically the training area, all in here. That's where we fly and we can do our little maneuvers. And generally, when I plan a flight, I usually plan to go over to here. All right, how do I clear? There we go. Yeah. We have Austin International is down here. This is my airport. So a lot of Austin's airport, there's like a major air corridor like right there. So, and then over here, I think, anyway, everything down here I don't really go to. So, um, part of what I'm doing right now is just kind of sort of getting oriented and refamiliar with the tools. I was supposed to fly on Sunday and I didn't get to. I got all the way out to the runway. I got to, well, literally, I was 50 feet from the runway, ready to take off, and I was not happy with what some of the instruments were doing. And the winds were just a tiny bit higher than what I would have preferred. So the two things together, I decided to cancel the flight, which is an incredibly difficult decision to make as a pilot because we like to fly. It's why we do it. And spending 20 minutes inspecting your plane and getting ready, talking to the tower. Like I literally was already talking to the tower and everything. They already knew what I was going to do. And then at the last minute to go, no, not going to do it. It sucks. Hate doing that. Um, so anyway, I think what I'm going to do, I am going to plan a flight to Tango 74, this airport here, from KEDC. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set up my scratch pads over here. So I've got, so yeah, this is from Sunday. I got my weather information, got everything. We'll do this. So what I do over here is when I'm planning, that is what this stuff in red down here is. All this stuff. When I'm planning, I write all the information down there, and then that way, when that way I have an idea, a rough idea. It's not always the same of what conditions to expect, and then at the time of the flight, I switch to yellow. So the yellow is easier to read quickly, and the red is less, stands out less, so it doesn't distract me if that information's still there. All right, so we are going to, so this is the 21st, so I am going to write the time that I'm doing this. I'm departing over here, depart, no, there we go, depart from KEDC, my airport. I'm gonna leave all this red information here for now, and I'll come back to that later. Here, I'll say this is one I've prepared for Waco, San Antonio. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to do a new one then. Nope, not that one. Edit. Wait. All right, we're going to do an ATIS. All right, so this is Tango 74. This is Taylor. Okay. And so I'm going to get all my airport information. So I'm going to come over here. I click on it and I have all my information over here. So things I'm going to need this AWOS. I can't write on the menu that's just popped out. But at the top here, you say AWOS-3PT119.75. That is the frequency I will use to get the weather when I'm approaching that airport. So I write non-changing information. I tend to write in white. So here, we're going to do AWOS, and that was 119.825.825. And since I need to read this while I'm flying, it has to be very clear. 825. Okay. And then over here, CTAF, this is the Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. A non-towered airport, which is what Taylor is, does not have an air traffic control, which means you literally, there's a frequency you get on and you just shout into the void, hey, I'm coming in. I'm going to fly here. I'm going to land on this runway, blah, blah, blah. And you just hope people hear you. All right, CTAP over here, CTAP Unicom 122.8. So I'm going to write that down. So 122.8. All right. We are preparing this. Whoops. This is APR. Still the 21. 3026. All right. So let's get our information. We can switch to, yeah, we can switch to red at this point. So we'll go to red. Boop. All right. So, oh, actually, before I do that, let's do this. We're going to go to KEDC, go to weather, and I'm going to find the day, right? I haven't done that yet. It's currently very rainy. Oh yeah, I turned that off. Let's turn that back on. Lowest tilt. There we go. It's currently, and it's been very rainy. So Sunday was actually, like, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were the kind of 3 non-rainy days in the past, like 2 weeks or so. So again, it was really hard to cancel that flight at the last minute like that. But what I'll do is I'll come over here to weather, and then I'm going to go to daily and look at the forecast. So I'll be flying during the day. 37, 39, 20. So I'm looking at the precipitation. It's in blue here on the right side. So like Tuesday, April 21 is 18 degrees Celsius, 37% chance of precipitation. So if I come down, there's a chance basically for the next week and a half. But what's going on here? Thank you. All right, cool. So I will just pick, I'll pick Friday. It has a 19% chance, and it looks like it's going to be kind of warm at 31 degrees Celsius. So Friday here, so precipitation, no, wait. There we go. All right, so reading down at 8 a.m., so it tells me right here up at the top, it's IFR conditions. That's what that red IFR means. This means instrument flight rules. That's not something I can fly in. This, like, you don't need that there to tell you that. You can figure it out from all the other information. But you have to have all that other information, like all the conditions memorized, which you should, but this just makes it easier. Anyway, 7-foot, 100-foot ceiling, that's a pretty low cloud cover. So that's 8 a.m. I'm not going to fly at 8 a.m. anyway. So it's a cloud ceiling. Below that is visibility at 6 statute miles. And then you have, below that, you have wind direction, like it's coming from the 193 degrees. And the wind speed, 9, gusting up to 15. And then the ambient temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. And then the percentage of rain is 20%. So if I slide on out here, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. These are about the times that I normally like to fly anyway. And that's also the lowest precipitation chance. So that's perfect. So we'll say 2, which is VFR conditions. That's perfect. I can fly in VFR and marginal VFR and VFR up there. There's no cloud ceiling. That's perfect. Visibility is 10 statute miles. All right, so 212, 8 knots. So this is actually the information I want to write down. So we're going to come over to here. We're in red. So we have 10 statute miles. Sky conditions are clear. And what was that? Oh, here. Fuck. Whether I picked Friday. Friday at 2. Yep. There we go. Okay. 10 statute miles, right. So 212 at 8. All right. This wind is from 212 at 8 knots. No gusting. And this is for, I'm going to write here in red, Friday at 2 p.m. And I will cross that out later on. Okay, there's no cloud cover. That's what this means over here. So none of this sky section matters. The temperature was 22 degrees. The dew point, Friday, dew point is up here. It's 21. So the temperature is 22. The dew point is 21. So when those things are very close, which they are, that means there's a lot of moisture in the air. So you tend to get, the air can be very stable, which is good to fly in. But it also tends to be hazy and like can be foggy. All right, so the altimeter, we're not going to get that. Where we go? Right here. Yeah, we're not going to get an altimeter value, but I do have a density altitude here. It's 2,105, so I can put that down. Red. All right. Density altitude 2,000. Oops, what was it? Friday at 2. Wait a minute, did I click the wrong day? Hang on. Friday, 19%. All right, that's the correct day. And then it was at 2 p.m. It either changed or I made a mistake. All right, well, 29 degrees Celsius. Oh, yeah, that's different. Why is it different? It was 23 and 22 a second ago. Did that just change on me? Or am I going crazy? 3 p.m. This now has a ceiling. Wait a minute. I can't. I must not be looking at the same thing. Austin Executive. Daily forecast. '21. Wait a second. Okay, I guess it changed. I guess it updated. Okay. 15 minutes ago. Update 15 minutes ago. Well, all right. That's okay. This is just for practice anyway. On weather conditions like this, I often expect, oh, now it's Okay, what's going on here? Why am I getting confused? Friday, April 24th. 10 statute miles, no ceiling. Wait, a second ago. All right, whatever. Friday, April 24th at 2. I'm going to write that down right now. Friday, on the April 24th. Like I said, this information, I will actually scratch that out when the time, when the day of the flight comes. Let's get rid of that. Here, we're going to come back over here. Maps. Friday, April 24th at 2. Right. VFR conditions, no ceiling, 10 statute miles, 212 at 8 knots, 29 and 22. Okay, so here, 212 at 8 knots. Here, this is 29, and then 22 is the dew point. Okay, so that's fine. That's not too bad. All right, the density altitude, that's what started this mess. Friday at 2, density altitude is 2884. Okay, so 2884. Here we go. 2884 feet. So this, I use this to determine how to set the mixture, the fuel air mixture during takeoff and landing. On the planes that I fly, the threshold is 3,000. So when you're below 3,000, you get full rich, and when you're above 3,000, you don't go full rich. You do something different. All right. Right. So let's go to my checklist over here. So this is my flight prep checklist. So I just wanted to get this page set up. I will come back to it. Normally when I'm doing this, I'm flying to places I've already got this set up for. So I haven't been to Taylor in a while. Before I was kind of doing this extensive of a prep. So, all right. So starting with my checklist, find the critical speeds. All right. So that means I'm coming over here and I want to find out, I need to get familiar with how the plane performs. And I know this is part of the over preparation I was talking about before. This is not something that most people do. So, or like every single time. So all the yellow is the information I look up. So this is like from the book. And then the orange is calculated. So, or like calculated or derived information. All right, so there we go. So this is the model. It's a Skyhawk 172 November. This is the registration number 739er Hotel. That's what we say on the radio to say who you are. And then this is the date of the preparation. So do yellow, 21, 21. All right, so we go to the manual. And these are all the speeds that I care about. So let's see here. They changed this. They moved this to the side, and it doesn't seem to work as well now. Sure, it'll make a liar out of me, but it's fine. I mean, that's fine. I want it to work. So if I say it doesn't, and then it starts working. Okay, why can't I? Come on, you stupid iPad. Documents. Where? Damn it. Yeah, I'm not an Apple person. This shit frustrates the hell out of me. All right, so November 739er Hotel. That's the right here. Where's my drawing tools that were over here? Where'd they go now? What is going on? Oops. This one. What is this? Close all tabs. No. Here it is. Jesus. All right. Okay. So my critical speeds. So this is the rotate speed where you take off. These are climb out These are all climb out speeds, so find those first. So taking off is a normal operation. So we're going to go to normal. It's chapter 4. All right, speeds for normal operation. That's not what I'm looking for. Takeoff. Here we go. Flaps up, carburetor, throttle, elevator control, lift nose at 55 knots. All right, so that is, that's actually correct. Go to here and we can do 55. And I leave this information as opposed to just erasing it because it gives me a sanity check. If I were to come back and be like if say I look up this number here, this VX, and I come back and I'm like, oh, it's 85. Like, okay, well, it was 59 the last time I looked it up. I've probably made a mistake. So at least I can go back and double check. And if I really think it's 85, I'll go with 85. But if I just erase that 59, then I have nothing to sanity check against. So VX and VY. So these are the climb out speeds. These will be, I think they'll be normal as well. That is chapter 4. Here we go. Takeoff 47. All right, so speeds for normal operation. Here we go. So en route climb, flaps up. Normal sea level, right? This is 75 to 85. So that's this one here. This is actually correct. Well, 75 to 85. And you'll notice I have 70 to 80, 70 to 85. And that's because the climb out, the cruise climb speed in the manual is not consistently written everywhere. That's why. Okay. So best rate of climb, this means gaining the most amount of altitude in the shortest amount of time. So at sea level, that is 73. That's VY here. So this is correct. 73. Okay. And then best angle of climb at sea level here is 59. So this means the greatest amount of altitude in the shortest ground space. And that would matter if there's an obstacle at the end of the runway, you need to get over it. So that is 59. So that checks out. So 59. That is also, when we do a short field takeoff, we use 59 because it's a short field here, short. So presumably there's either an obstacle or a drop off at the end of the field, or, well, there's just no more runway. So you've got to be in the air clearing 50-foot obstacle. So we use VX till we get up above 50 feet, and then we can transition to VY and get altitude faster. Okay. So let's now find the, so these are stall speeds here. So let's do the stall speeds next. Here it is. So my stall speeds are going to be, that's either performance or limitations. Let's check limitations. Now, performance. Stall speeds, right there. 511. Okay. I'm gonna. Oh, damn it! I don't know why this button. Yeah, selection tool. Thank you. I don't. Ever since they moved this tablet, this palette over here, the selection tool doesn't work. I don't. This makes me feel so stupid. It worked a second ago. It works with my finger. All right. Anyway. Fuck off. This is why I hate Apple products. It's doing all my thinking. It's trying to guess what I want to do. The fucking thing. All right. Erase. Thank you. Now, I would like to stop drawing. So now I have touched the pencil icon. It is the unhide. It's okay. This has got to be a bug because a second ago. Okay, so I'm tapping it and it's toggling the palette on the left, but a second ago. Fuck me, man. I don't know. Here are my stall speeds. All right, so we're looking for VS1 and VSO. So VSO is your velocity stall optimized. That basically means what is the absolute lowest stall speed you can get. This means you've got like full flaps down, you've got your landing gear down, so the slowest speed at which you can fly. And then VS1 is almost the same, except all your flaps and your wheels and all that are up. It's the slowest speed you can fly in what's called a clean configuration, and it's going to be higher. Okay, now stall speed in planes that I fly are depend on where the center of gravity is with respect to the center of lift. And so the manual doesn't just give you one number. It says, well, if your center of gravity is as far back as possible, like this, then you're going to have these stall speeds based on your angle of bank and your flap deflection and all that. So I'm going to read all this. Hopefully this works. I'll just use my finger since I know that works. Stupid. All right, now I'd like to draw a square. Let me draw a square, please. Which one lets me draw a square? I want to draw a square. Drawing. Is this it? Oh, of course it's it. All right. Drawing a square. And we're going to use green. Yeah. Okay. So, so we're using the, yeah, so weight is 2,300 pounds. So when flap deflection is up, and what I want to find is here, I want the stall at level flight and at 45 degrees bank. Because these kind of matter a lot when like you're in the pattern at the airport and you are circling to land. So when you make your turns, you're going to be in a bank. And when you bank, your stall speed goes up, which means you can be flying. It's possible to fly at a speed that is fast enough to fly, but then when you bank, it's no longer fast enough to fly, and then you have a problem. So let's see here. All right, so what I do, we have the most rearward center of gravity and the most forward center of gravity, and I just split the difference. These planes are really well balanced, and we're not like excessively loading. It's just it's either just me and like a 20-pound backpack tops, or it's me and the instructor, each of us with maybe 20 pounds of gear tops. So that's not going to significantly offset the center of gravity. That only happens like if you're carrying, say, 4 people and like luggage or something like, well, 4 people will do it, or if you also have luggage. So I am going to go for, got flaps up. We're going to do 40 degrees here and here. And then I care about 0 degrees, which is level flight, and then 45-degree bank. Now, in the traffic pattern around the airport, you're not supposed to exceed 30, but by using these numbers, I build in a margin of error. Okay, we care about the knots indicated airspeed here, not the KCAS, which is knots calibrated airspeed. I care about that. So, in level flight with flaps up, so this is VS1, it is 42 and 47, the difference of which is 5. So we're going to split the difference and round up. That becomes 3. So 42 and 3 is 45. That is correct. All right. So at 40 degrees, we have 36. I'm sorry, not yeah, 40 degrees of flap. No, no, no. Let's not do it like that. That's confuse myself. All right. I know I clicked on the eraser. What the fuck? I don't. Fucking. God. All right. I did not have these kind of problems before. There's been an update when this palette moved to the side. That's when all this shit stopped working for me. I fucking hate it. I swear this makes me feel like it was the first day. The first day I got this tablet, my first exposure to Apple products was when I started flying, and I had to get this tablet because um this application only exists for Apple. So fine, I'm learning it. And I was always frustrated because I could never get it to do what I wanted, because Apple likes to do your thinking for you. And now with this change to putting this palette on the side, it whatever that update that did that, it's the whole thing's weird now. Fucking stop doing shit for me. Sorry, I'm coming off. I've been trying to use ChatGPT lately, and ChatGPT is frustrating because it likes to second guess everything that you do, um, even when you tell it not to. And I'm so tired of machines trying to tell me what I want. It's fucking wrong. All right. Flap deflection. So we're doing. Let's see. We're gonna do up and up, right? At 0 degrees, so 45 degrees. We've got 50 and 56. So that's a difference of 6. You split it. That's 3. So 53. That is correct. All right. Next, we've got flap deflection of 10 degrees. That's 38 and 44. This is in level flight. Hang on a second. Ten degrees, level flight, 38, 44. That is 6. Half that's 3. That's 41. So at 10 degrees, which is here, and level flight, which is here. All right, that's 41. That is correct. 40 degrees flap, 40. So we got 36 to 41. That's 5. Split difference and round up. That's 3. So that's 39. Again, in level flight, here, 4 degrees of flap, 39. So that is correct. They don't list these flaps 2 and 3, so we interpolate. We'll just split the difference. 41, 39. That is 40, so that's all correct. Go ahead and write that out. So this is 45. 45. 41. And then 40. And then 39. Cool. 39. All right. Get rid of that. Clean up. All right. Cool. And then since we're here, we can do our orange. Actually, no. I have a way to do this. Stick to the plan. All right, so now we're going to check the 45-degree bank. So, got to use my finger. Doesn't work. I don't know why. But whatever. All right, so 2,300-pound aircraft. Yep. When the flaps are up. Okay. Right. What the fuck? Why are you not? Okay, I clicked the pencil. I clicked drawing. Is it? It's not me, right? This is legitimately not me, right? Pencil. And now it goes, the pencil becomes unhighlighted and my palette comes up on the left. Can I write now? No. Pencil, pencil. This is not me. I feel I feel frustrated, I feel stupid, and I feel angry because I hate when shit doesn't work. All right, so now I have pencil. I pick my color. I've got blue. Please show me fucking. There we go. All right. Jesus, this is like my third time I've done this recording, and this is the first time I've had this many fucking problems. Oh, it's me. Oh, thank you, J. Lorenzi. I appreciate it. It's me. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Well, then tell me what I'm doing wrong if it's me. All right. I click the button. Now it's highlighted and the palette's gone. Now I can write. Okay, that makes total fucking sense. All right, so flap deflection. What were we doing? Here we go. All right, 45. All right, so 45 degrees. Flaps up. We've got 50 and 56. So split that. That's 53. That checks out. All right. So it flaps 10. 45 degrees. We have 45 and 52. That is 7. We'll split that. That becomes 4 and 49. That checks out. And then here at 43 and at 49, that is 6. Split difference. That is 46. So that checks out. 49 to 46 is 3. That's split difference is 2. So we'll make that 48. So that checks out. So here we go. 53. 53. All right. 49. And 48. All right. And then 46. God damn it. Come here. 46. All right. All right. So now here. Oh, I didn't cross those out. Well, that's all right. Do orange. All right. So 45, and we're going to add 30%. So that is 13.5. We're going to round that up to 14. So that becomes 59. That checks out. 41 becomes 12.3. So that becomes 53.3. We'll round that up to 54. That checks out. This becomes 40, becomes 52. That's correct. 39, I'm going to treat that as 40. So that's another 12. So that becomes 49, 51. So let's check out. So here we go. So 59. Oop. All right. 59. And then here we have 54. Jalarensi, yes, I'm using an iPad pencil. That is correct. And then here, 52. Well, I'm using an iPad pencil when I can to do for the selection area to delete the graphics. It only worked with my fingers, and I don't know why. It didn't used to only work with my fingers, but it is only working with my fingers now. So I don't think it's me. But maybe I'm wrong. I didn't have these problems before, which is another reason I don't think it's me. All right, get rid of this. Like, this is the third recording I've done of this. It's not my third time doing this. I've been doing this for a while. This is probably my 20th time doing this. And even higher just using the iPad since I started flying. So, I don't know. Like I said, maybe it is me, but this feels new to me. These issues feel new to me. So, all right, we're going to use red. We're going to cross these out. And then we're going to double check them. So 53. All right. So 15, 30% is 15.9. So that's 16. So 53 and 16 becomes 69. That checks out. So 49 and 15 becomes 64. That checks out. 48. And that'll be what? 12 and 14 points. Yeah. So 15. So that'll be 50, 63. That checks out. And then here, this will be 12, 13, 14. So that'll be 50, 60. So those check out. So here we go. So that's 69. 69. Here, this is 64. Here, we've got 63. Here. And 60 here. And boop. Alrighty. That's those. All right. So the last speeds I need. So I need my approach speed, which should be roughly close to my, oh, I haven't looked up Best Buy. Okay. Well, it's fine. All right. Approach. Let's clean up all of this. Works great with my finger. I guess that's what I need to do from now on. Fuck me. Delete. Okay, so I click the pencil to turn off pencil, and I want to swipe. It's not letting me swipe. So click the pencil. The palette goes away. I assume I'm not using the pencil, even though it's highlighted, and yet I am using the pencil. Right? Now I click it. The palette comes up. The pencil is still highlighted. Delete. Pencil. Yeah, there's a bug. This is fuck me. Okay. Yeah, see the pencil, when I click it to try and drag, that doesn't work. It used to work. All right, now I would like to swipe the page. I don't know how to do that. I'm why? God damn it. Why? Yeah, this all right, look for my approach speeds. That will be, get rid of this. My approach speeds will be under normal procedures. That is 4. All right, here we go. So landing 4-9. Now, how the fuck do I get to this page? Because I can't get out of the pencil mode. Because now I guess I'm in drawing mode. I shouldn't be, but what the fuck? Okay. All right. Okay. All right, let's get rid of all this shit. Oh, look. So now my pencil is doing this correctly, like it should. All right, drawing. So my approach speeds are here. Okay. So normal approach with the flaps up is 60 to 70. Approach. So 60 to 70. So I have written here 55 to 65. So that makes me wonder. That's flaps up. Flaps down at 40. That's actually what I want. That's 55 to 65. So there we go. So that right there, that checks out. And that's why I don't erase stuff to sanity check. Yeah, I think something funky's going on with the iPad. I don't know what's up, man. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. All right, so 55 to 65, that's fine. Here, yellow, 55 to 65 here. All right, so now we need the this is the maneuver speed limit, and then best glide, which is what you use for emergencies. So we'll come over here. Nope, back to trying to use the pencil, and it did not work. Nope, pencil. All right, and the pencil's charged. Well, it's about halfway charged right now, but it was doing this the other day, and the pencil was fully charged. So I don't think it's a charge in the pencil, for whatever that's worth. All right, so I want oh, let's see, my so my VSO here comes from over here, so that is 51 and 60, which is what I have here, 51 and 60, and then my VSI or VS1 is 59 and 69, and that's what I have here. And so the way I remember that is 50, 60, 60, 70. And this is a level flight. I'm sorry. These are level flight. These are bank. So I know when my flaps are down, 50, flaps are up, 60. If I'm banking, 60. And if I'm banking, 70. So it's actually not as intuitive when I write it down like that. But in my head, it makes total sense. All right, so let's clean up here. Clean up here. Here, because I will review all of this before, an hour or so before I fly. All right, so let's go fly. Yeah, let's clean up this, that, and that. That's 51. Here, 5, 1. Back to yellow. All right, so best glide or maneuver speed, that is a limit. So limitation maneuver limits. Here we go. 27. There we go. Here we go. So the plane is 2,300 pounds. We are interested in knots indicated airspeed, so 97. This is what I have, so that's good, 97. So this is the limit. I should not be above that speed when I am doing anything other than like very, very gentlest of turns. Really, personally, I prefer to be below this number for any maneuvers at all. Like even a super gentle turn, but yeah. All right, so best glide, that's this one. This is for emergencies, so we're gonna find that up over here. So we're gonna clean this up here. Go away, and now we're gonna go to emergency procedures, which is 3. All right, engine failure, forced landing, engine. Nope. Nope. God damn it. All right, I'd like to. If the pencil's on, I'm writing. If the pencil's off. Okay, I can pan. And if I select this, I can delete. Do I have to select that again? Okay, even though it says the pencil is on and the pencil tablet is up. Okay, that makes no fucking sense, but whatever. All right. Airspeed for emergency operations. Engine failure. Nope. So I clicked this one on and off. Fuck me, man. My finger, I can select things. Click it again, it's not working. I click the pencil, I'm not writing. Pencil off, I'm not writing. Pencil on up here, now I'm writing. Okay. Well, flaps up is 65, flaps down is 60. So that's here. So flaps at 0, that's flaps up, so it's 65, and flaps F4, fourth position, 40 degrees, it's all the same thing. Flaps down, that's 60. So these are correct. That's good. So let's write those again. So 60, 65, and 60. That's my best glide, which means I will go, I will have the most flight time at that speed. Okay, and you only need that when you don't have power anymore. There we go. But it makes sense. The approach speed is 55 to 65 when you're coming into land, so that all makes sense. The approach speed 55 to 65. That's normal for a short field. Here, 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 there. Okay. Again. Okay, fine. All right, normal procedures is 4. And let's clean up. Okay, normal procedures 4. All right, take off, descent, landing, short field landing. Right there, 4-9. 13, 413, 4-9, short field landing. Ah, there it is. Airspeed. This work? No. 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 That, oh, all right. I'm glad I don't have to do this shit while I'm flying. All right. So airspeed right here. This one in green. 60 knots until the flare. So that's on the approach. 60 to 70 flaps up is as you're coming in, and then the flare is like right before you hit the ground. You're gonna pull up, and you're gonna use you're basically using wind resistance to slow you down even more as you come down, and that is 60 degrees, which makes sense. That is your best glide. And it's only just barely above your rotate speed, so that makes sense. So 60 for the short field. Okay, yeah. So that's when you don't have a long runway. So again, that is correct. All right. So we're gonna note that 60 degrees. Okay. This page always takes the most amount of time to complete. Oh, my cruise climb. Let's finish that. En route climb 70 to 85 right there. See, 70 to 85, and before I found 75 to 85. So which is it? I don't know. It's only a 5 knot difference though. So 70 to 85 is the one that I picked to work with. All right, this page always takes forever. It doesn't help that the Apple Pen is being an absolute biatch. So we can close that. So now I'm going to do my, oh yeah, that's that's done. So now we're going to check weight and balance. All right, so here, weight and balance. I'm the only pilot. I'll put my weight in. I'll put it in as 205. This is in pounds. Close. There'll be no passenger, but the passenger seat will have my my bag that I carry with me with my flight stuff in it. So that'll be 15 pounds. These are the next are the two. I just realized you can't see what I'm pointing at. Left seat, right seat. Those are the back seats. The tail compartment has some like equipment in it, like spare oil and all that. So that's always 40 pounds. We don't have an aft tail compartment, so that's 0. Fuel tanks hold, this is 40 gallons. We'll consume 1 by the time we get to the runway. If we fly for 3 hours, it's conservatively, we estimate we burn 8 gallons an hour, so that's 24 gallons. This will be a 90-minute flight, so I'll just fly to Taylor, do a touch and go, fly back. So it'll be half of that, so that'll be 12. So 12 gallon. So over here, I see this this large almost rectangle. Well, it's a pentagram, or pentagon, but that's the flight envelope. And so I see in here we have takeoff weight, landing weight, and 0 fuel weight. They're all well inside the envelope, which means weight and balance are fine. So that's cool. Let's get back to our checklist. All right, so weight and balance is good. Check the route for TFRs and NOTAMs. So here, you can close that. So KEDC. So these are TFRs, it's a temporary flight restriction, and a NOTAM is a notice to air missions or airmen, depending on when you learned it. So here, and they're basically like warnings, temporary changes to stuff. Well, temporary in air quotes. In this case, this NOTAM for my airport says that, for example, runway 1634 closed indefinitely. That is true. However, this runway 13 precision approach path indicator, that's the PAPI light. There's a set of lights that let you know if you are on the correct approach. This says that they are unusable. It has said this since I started flying out of this airport approximately 2 years ago. And those lights have been working the entire time. So anyway, but I've checked it. So that's this airport. And we're also going to check the destination airport, which is T74. Your NOTAMs. Older. So this expires June 5th. Effective July 24th. Expires June 5th. So this is still in effect. Killer Municipal. Arrow Z2 departure. RNAV. This is all RNAV stuff. So doesn't apply to me. Takeoff minimums, runway 17, standard with a minimum climb gradient of 310 feet per nautical mile to 1,000. All other data remains as published. So this is just giving you guidance on when you take off, climb at this rate. That's fine. I think normally when I'm doing a climb out, I think I normally do about 500 feet per minute. So I'm definitely exceeding that, which is fine. What else do we have? ODP Taylor Municipal, takeoff minimums, and obstacle departure procedures. Oh, look at that. Takeoff minimums, runway 17, standard with a minimum climb gradient. This exact same information. Okay. And then let's see down here. This is what? Instrument approach. I'm not flying an instrument approach, so it doesn't affect me directly. I guess it's good to read. There'll come a point where this becomes a lot more meaningful to me. All right, TFRs over here. Airspace Houston. That is pretty far away. That's like here. KIAH Houston. That's way far away from me. All right. Oh, hello, Lulu. All right, so what else? TFRs. San Antonio, that's way down here. So, okay. And another San Antonio. Good God. Today. Well, I don't care about today, actually. Not flying today. Effective April 21, expires April 21. Okay. Eagle Zulu 4, military operations in Gulf of Mexico within an area defined as, okay, Gulf of Mexico. Fucking down here. That's wrong. Okay, so all of that is way far away from me. Okay. And I'm going to double check. T74, here we go. KDEC, OTAMs, TFR. It's the same stuff. Yeah, ZHU. Airspace, unmanned aerial systems within an area defined as 5 nautical miles either side of a line from 0.6 nautical miles west of HSA to 13.7 nautical miles south, 66Y. So normally, April 24th to May 4th. Okay. Presumably those are on here. I don't see. I don't know why I'm doing this the hard way. Here, Where was it? Which one was I just looking at? Nope. Nope. US. Here we go. So if I click this, so normally in the past, I've had like they'll pop up like here, like when stuff's active or whatever. These graphics will pop up. They're not always there. Or like this one, I think is a rocket launch. Yeah, SpaceX McGregor Test Facility. Yeah. So, given where I'm going and where I am, I know from experience that there's nothing to be concerned about. Okay, I'm not going to stress it. Ideally, I would find everything on the map and figure it out. But at this point in my training, given where I am and where I'm going and what I'm doing, I'm not going to stress it. I know that I'm okay. Right. So back to my checklist. Check that. Review the destination airfields. Okay, so here, that is this. So we are going to go. This is San Antonio, and this is Waco over here. Oops. From previous trips. Do that. Get rid of all of this. And normally I keep that and double check it, but it's not as big a deal. All right, so we're going to T74. All right, so the field elevation at T74. This is basically the altitude above sea level of the runway. So we are, here we go. Right here, touchdown, 600 feet MSL. Runway 35, touchdown 585. All right, so we're going to use 600. So this is 600. So that is almost the same field elevation as my airport, 620. Okay. All right, so jumping back. Here we go. All right, I need pressure, altitude, temperature. Oh, that's why it felt wrong. I didn't do pressure. I didn't do that yet. All right, so here I'm going to compute my pressure, altitude. All right. And in this case, while I don't expect the numbers to be really similar, I do expect them to be ballpark. So, like order of magnitude similar. So, all right. Altimeter. So this is massively an estimate since we are days away from the flight. But just to go through the exercise, KEDC, weather. So I'm just going to use what it is right now. It's not going to be relevant at all 5 days from now, but it's good practice. So the altimeter here is 30.11 inches of mercury. So 30. This right here is also just practice for like the knowledge portion of your final, like your test. You need to be familiar with calculating pressure, altitude, and density altitude. So that's really the bigger reason why I go through this exercise here. I got the field elevation here. So pressure, altitude is 29.92 minus the altimeter. So 29.92 minus 30.11. So that is 11 plus 8. So that is 0.19. multiply that by 1,000, that becomes 190 feet. And then we add that to the field elevation, which is over here, 620. So that becomes 190 plus 620 is 710. Okay. That is my pressure altitude. 710. All right. And I will just go ahead and use the current outside air temperature of 18. Like I said, this is more just an exercise here. These calculations you would want to do as close to the flight as possible. So doing it 5 days ahead is really pointless. Unless, like me, you're like, I need to be solid on this for my knowledge test. 3-0. Okay, let's get everything cleaned up here. Okay. Outside air temperature is 18. The standardized temperature is 13.76 for my location. So the density altitude is the pressure altitude, which we just calculated, plus 120 times outside air temp minus standardized air temp. So outside air temp was 18 minus standardized, that's 13. So that is 4.24 times 120 plus pressure altitude. So 4.24 times 120, 508, 509, and pressure altitude is 710. So we'll add 710, 1218. We're going to call it 1219 here. And that's kind of close. 1219. And this can range from, like, I've seen it as low as like 200, as high as 3,500. So this is like your effective altitude that the plane is at. So which you use to figure out, like, how does the plane perform for like acceleration, takeoff, and landing and all that. You can get a forecast number. I don't care about that. Let's do this here. Clean up after ourselves here. And there we go. All right, and we calculated 1219, which come back over here to here. And so that's actually 1219. And I forget where I read that from, but these are wild numbers right now. Like I said, more for practice than anything else. All right, so back to here. All right, so for so normally what I would do is the other airports as well. So this would be like T74. So do the same thing. Since these numbers are almost all made up anyways, I don't really see the benefit of doing it again. I will look up the field elevation for T74. Should be here, runway, and actually did I just look this up? There, 600 feet. Yeah, I did just look this up. So it'll be 600. And then the ISA temp, which is this value here, uses the field elevation. So this is 15 minus 2 times 0.6. And that's the number that's what this number is right here. But I'm not going to bother because it doesn't matter. For these purposes, it doesn't matter. All right. So I guess I'm at density altitude. So we can come back here. So I need this because I want to know 1219 and the outside air temperature. I'll use the current anyway. So here it is. So here. pressure altitude 1219, and the air temperature was 18. Round that up to 20, and this I'm going to round up to 2000. Oh, 1219. I'm not rounding, not here. 18. So this is the rounding right here. So this is becomes 2000, and this becomes 20. 2, 3, and 20. And what this is figuring out what information we're going to use to look up the landing and takeoff distances for the aircraft. Let's go we need the runway length, so let's go get that for T74. We're already looking at T74 here, so the runways are 17 is 4,000 feet long, and 35, which goes the other direction and is the exact same pavement, is also 4,000. So this is white, this is 4,000. These are in hundreds. Okay. So we're going to do yellow because I'm going to look this up. And then over here, this is the same information. There's no need to repeat it. All right. So looking this up, I need to know normal procedures is 4, section 4. God damn it. Back to this shit again. Okay. Now, turn it off. All right. Section 4. There's my landing. Is it 4.9? Takeoff is it 4.7? So what I'm looking for now is it under performances? Takeoff distances. Oh, it might be over here. All right. So those are stall speeds. Here we go. Yep, this is what I needed. So this was under section. Okay, this is under performance. Section 5 performance. Okay. So for short field takeoff, we're going to use, all right? Now, can I fucking me? Now, where's my marker color dot? What is going on? It's got to be a bug. They can't have changed the way that everything works this drastically. And everybody's just cool with it. I want to make marks on paper. Pencil. Color. Blue. Drawing. What the fuck? Use pencil for notating. This is extremely frustrating. Can't I fucking write now? Okay, I click it once. Fuck. Oh my god. All right. I'm glad I don't have to write shit during flight. Not in this app anyway. My scratch pads work flawlessly. So I need my takeoff roll and the takeoff distance to clear 50-foot obstacle. So over here, we are in a short field takeoff. We're using a 2,300-pound aircraft as opposed to these down here. We want takeoff speed. No, we don't need takeoff speed. So here, we need to know the pressure altitude to use. That's what I just picked right here. We compute it, well, we compute this, and we get that from like the weather information. And then we round up to these numbers here, 2000 and then 20 degrees. And that's how we figure out what to use over here. So here's 20 degrees. Here is the 2000 foot line. So we have a ground roll and we have to clear a 50-foot obstacle. So we have 1,000 feet and 1,790 feet. So that is 1,000 and 1,790. Okay. Now to land, okay, cruise, short field landing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, what do I touch to right? Do I touch the pencil at the top right or the pencil on the left? Anyone's guess. Oh, okay, it was the top right this time. All right, so once again, 20 degrees, 2,300 pound aircraft, and we're at a pressure altitude of 2,000 feet. So we come across, this is the information we want. So, of course, I just wrote over it. There we go. So 570 and 1335. So 570 and 1335. So that means to take off and clear a 50-foot obstacle, we need this much distance. To land over a 50-foot obstacle, we need this much distance. And then this is how much when we're taking off. This is how much we're actually going to be on the ground. And then the other 790 feet will be in the air, climbing to above 50 feet. And the opposite is here. So we need this much distance, 1335, to clear the 50-foot obstacle. And the last 570 feet of that will be where we're actually on the runway and coming to a stop. And then for touch and go, this is you're going to do both, right? So I want to know that the distance is here. So that is just adding them together. I'm going to add all the numbers, not just some of them. All right, 1790 and 1335 becomes 5 and 2, and then 16 and 17, which is 33. So if I want to do a touch and go, the runway needs to be at least 1,570 feet long, and I need at least 3,325 feet total to clear a 50-foot obstacle at both ends. All right. So the reason I do this is because then I look at the runway length up here. My home airport, which is KEDC, is a 6,000-foot runway. All of these are well less than 6,000, and specifically or critically, the touch and go, which is what I do a lot of, is less than 6,000. So I'm comfortable there. Now, interestingly, at Taylor, which is T74 here, it only has a 4,000-foot runway. So I can land fine and I can take off. But I want to do a touch and go. If there is a 50-foot obstacle at both ends, like here and then the runway and then here, and then I land and I take off again, I need this much room. And it's only 4,000 feet long. So, well, actually, no, I am fine because this is how much runway I need. And it's 4,000 feet long. So it's fine. All right, so we're good there. We'll do the check marks, clean up after ourselves. All that. Here, here, here. There. Okay. Zoop. 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 All right. Checklist. So, review destination airports, prep the ATIS scratch pad for each. That's what we've done. This is the ATIS scratch pad. Has the room for the weather information. I've got my frequencies here up at the top left. Down at the bottom right, I've got other frequencies for like what I might be using before or after I arrive at this place. Bottom left, I've got my expected runway. I didn't write that down, but I will now. Based on the winds that I looked up or forecast, at 150, I expect runway 13. And then just some of this other information, like this stuff. This is all for flight following. I won't be doing that. The trip is too short. That's where you ask air traffic control to watch you with the radar and make sure you don't go missing. Traffic pattern altitude is this down here, TPA 1600. It's 1,000 feet above the field elevation, which is 620, so 1600. So the Taylor one is here. So the expected runway, if winds are at 212, go to Taylor. Here it is. So Taylor, the runways, we have 17 and we have 35. So if the winds are at 212, so 212, 3, 5, and 212, that is 14, and what was it, 17? Actually, it's easier to think of it this way. 17 is, and 3, 5 are the runways, and then 21 is the wind. So 21 to 17 is 4, and 21 to 35 is 14. So runway 17 is what we expect. I don't know why I was making it harder by thinking in the full number. All right, so expect runway 17. And then over here, if I look at this, let's put this in as a flight plan. KEDC space. Okay. Tango 74. All right, so here it is. So 17 is right here, heading down, and 35 is up. So if we are expecting 17 to land on 17 based on the wind, and we note over here 17 is a right traffic, so that means the traffic pattern uses right turns like that to land. And then when you take off, you'll be going like this if you're doing like a touch and go. So given that I'm coming from KEDC, this pink line is roughly the direction I'll be going as I approach the airspace for Tango 74, which works out really well because I'll need to enter the right traffic pattern here. So we enter on a 45, which means I'll be going here, and then I'll just turn right into that into the downwind stretch, which is this area that I'm coloring in red, and I'll just make my turns and come in there. So yeah, so that'll be nice and easy. Now if the winds shift for whatever reason and I have to use runway 35, I see that runway 35 is a left hand pattern, which means I would like to change colors, actually, is what that means. Pencils. Here it is. Wait. Oh, there it is. Okay. So if I have to go the other way, eraser, here we go. Yeah. There we go. And then, oh wait, no. Okay. So 3-5 is right, going purple. All right, 3-5 is pointing that way basically, and it's left traffic. Come on, there we go. Runway, left traffic. Okay, so it's left traffic unless it says otherwise. So left traffic means you're making left-hand turns, which means we're actually on the same exact side of the airport. We're going to be heading this way, and we'll go this way, left turn, and then left turn onto the runway. And if we stayed in the pattern when we take off, we would do left turn and left turn here. Now, if we're coming this way, this is kind of a bad form. So how would I do that? Actually, that probably is what I would do. So we'd take off and probably just head like north. And then we would cut right and come down. I'm trying to think. We wouldn't need to. So teardrop entry is when you have to fly to the other side of the airport, like that. Or if you came this way and went that way, depending on the pattern. But we're not on this side. I imagine the traffic pattern is on the west side of the airport to keep planes from overflying the town. Where is my pen eraser? Okay. Do all this. So yeah, I think we will just do that. No eraser. Got to be better color. Green. Oh, blue. That'll be. Yeah, it's easy to see. So yeah, we'll take off and scratch pad. We're gonna go back to here. So we expect to take off with runway 13. Okay, and then we expect to land on runway 17. So coming back to the map. So if we take off runway 13, we'll be heading this way, and to land on 17, we want to be going this way. So we'll take off and then we'll come back this way. And then we'll head directly toward the airport and come in at a 45, enter, and land like so. Okay, and now the alternate route would be, and this is why I do this. Like this isn't, I mean, I know I'm fighting with the iPad with the drawing and shit on the document application, but this right here, this process where I'm drawing the different routes, this actually is exactly how it works. Like you come up with a plan and you say, all right, well, what if I have to go to this runway? What do I have to go to that runway? What would be my plan, right? So here, if I would take off from runway 13, and I don't worry so much about considering the different runways from KDEC because you're on the ground, you're taking off, the tower is in charge, and it's like there's not much decision making that goes on. Either way, we're going that way. We're going northeast from this airport. So then the question becomes, what if when we take off from 13, we end up, so maybe we exit the Delta late. Over here, this is the Delta perimeter. That's the perimeter of the airspace for the airport. So if there's other traffic in the area, the tower may have us stay on course, maintain the runway heading for a while, which means we may end up turning towards the destination further south and east. So if that happens, we may end up on a course like over here, in which case, when we finally turn towards the airport, we'll be going like that. Now, if we do that, we'll be on the east side of the airport, which means if we're going to land on runway 17 with right traffic, which goes here, we will need to, well, we will either need to take a sharper, like a more westerly course so that we can then enter straight in on the downwind, like here, and just go like straight into the path. Oh, that's a weird mark. I like that. Or if we are actually up here by the time we're able to turn towards the airport here, then we will have to fly over. And at that point, we'll end up doing a teardrop. So we'll fly over here. We'll extend. So actually don't know the scale of this, but it doesn't really matter. This is just kind of planning. So it's not, all that matters is the relative locations. So we'd overfly the airport 500 feet above the traffic pattern altitude, which is, I didn't write it down. Well, I know the field elevation is 600, so traffic pattern altitude is 1,000 above. Traffic pattern altitude 1600, and we're gonna say 17 is right traffic and 35 is left. Okay. Sure. My map. There we go. All right, so here, right. So we'd cross 500 feet above that. So at 2,100 feet, we'd overfly the field, and then we do a teardrop. We do a left teardrop. We extend, or we'd continue past a mile and a half past the airport. This path right here is between half mile and 1.5 mile from the airport. So, excuse me. So we'd extend 1.5 miles past that. We do a left teardrop, which means we take a left turn, come around here so that we could enter that right downwind on a 45-degree angle, 45-degree angle there. So that would be the plan. Is we'd end up having to do a teardrop. So I realize it's a lot of talking and a lot of scribbling. Whoops. Here. All right. So what it comes down to is, man, none of these colors are really good for drawing on this map. Okay. Something is funky. Why? What? I can't erase that mark now. What the fuck? All right. Anyway, so we're landing on runway 17. We're gonna come here straight in, and then we'll just hang a right, enter the downwind on the 45, and go like so. And that'll be that's left traffic, and then wait a minute, did I flip that around? 17 is right traffic. Okay, I did flip that around. Can I get this now? No, that's weird. All right, yeah. So 17 is right traffic here, right turn. So if we're coming from KDC, we'll enter to 45 on the downwind, take right. If we end up coming in from the east of the airport for some reason, then we'll have to overfly and do a left teardrop so that we can then enter on that 45, right? And then if we're using runway 35, and the reason I consider both directions on this airport is because it's untowered, which means the runway in use can change at any time depending on wind and what the other pilots in the air just fucking feel like doing. Presumably they are using the wind as well, but you just never know. I've already seen some shit. So if we're using 35, then and we're coming from the west, the traffic on 35 is left. So we'll have to head kind of north and then just pull a U-turn and enter on the 45 into the left traffic, right? And if we end up coming in from the east side, we'll teardrop to the right so we can enter on that 45. So it's I'm not explaining it very well, I think, but it's really not that complicated. So anyway, that is the plan here. So prep the ATIS scratch pad, done. Note the traffic pattern, altitude, and traffic direction, done. Check if it's towered or untowered, done. Note the ATIS frequency, that is done. That's AWAS, ATIS, effectively the same thing. Okay. Check the ATIS on the scratch pad. Note the CTAF or ATC frequency on the scratch pad. That is also done. Here, CTAF at the top left, 122. All right. Checklist. Make space for tower transfer. That exists on the KEDC. Here, that's this stuff down here. That's the tower transfer frequencies. At an untowered airport, nobody's transferring you anywhere, so it doesn't matter. Although you might be under, you'll there'll be other frequencies like if I'm approaching Taylor and I'm like, say I'm doing flight following, then I might at that point, I would probably still be talking to Austin International. Yeah, they're probably, yeah, they're in charge of that area. So I would be talking to them. But I wouldn't be doing flight following anyway for such a short trip. And then note flight following, plan altitudes, and leave space for squawk codes. Okay, so I wouldn't be doing any of that. So we can skip that. Charge iPad. I will skip that because that is what I will do the night before. Check the weather, destination, METAR, and TAF. So I've done that, but I'll go through it again real quick. KDC, I'm going to skip that one. I'll just do this one, the destination. So the weather, so right now it's IFR, but we're planning. So the thing is my plan is like 6 days from now. So neither the METAR is for right now, and the TAF is the forecast. It only goes out like 24 or 36 hours, depending. So none of these will apply. But if I look right now, I can see, so the METAR at this airport for day 21 at hour 21:35 Zulu. This is an automated generated report. It's reporting winds at 130 at 9 knots. Visibility is 10 statute miles. Cloud ceiling is broken at 005. That's 50 feet. Wait, is it just 10? So that's 500 feet. That's really low. Yeah, so 500 feet, the clouds are broken, and then overcast at 3,300 feet. So that's IFR. I would be able to fly there. Temperature 17, dew point 16. Altimeter is 3016. That's what I would write here, and that is the number that I used. Where is it? Whoops. Here. That's this number. And that is basically a number you dial into your altimeter. There's a little window on it. Here, your altimeter looks kind of like a clock. There's a little window over here with some numbers. It is those numbers. And when you change these numbers, there's a little button here, a little dial here. That's actually a calibrating the altimeter to read correctly. Because the altimeter uses the air pressure to figure out how high you are, and the air pressure changes depending on temperature, humidity, and all that stuff, and altitude, of course. So checklist. So compute pressure, altitude. Already done that. Density, altitude. We did that as well. Calculate performance. This is the runway takeoff and landing distances. We did that. Review the destination airfields. So we checked the runway length versus the performance values we just looked up. That's good. Estimated expected runway. We did that. Plan most likely approaches based on expected runway and direction of flight and runway orientation. Did that. Update the scratch pads. Did that. Notify my instructor. So when I fly solo, I generally prefer to let my instructor know I'm going to do a solo flight. Just so she knows, not that she can do anything one way or another. Like if I have a problem, it's not like she can come out and help me, but it's good. It's just good for her to know. Notify Sonia. She appreciates knowing when I may be unreachable. And then if I'm going to file a flight plan for trips more than an hour, and the flight to Taylor from my airport is like 20-30 minutes. So skip that. Whew, and then before you leave home, so I wouldn't do this here now. This would be literally as I'm packing up to leave. I make sure I have my pilot license, some form of photo ID. This means a driver's license or a passport. Check that I have my medical certification on me, my logbook and endorsement. I don't think I need this to, I don't need this to fly. Well, okay. I don't need my logbook to fly. I do need my endorsements to fly. As a student pilot, I have a specific endorsement that allows me to fly as a student pilot, and then another endorsement to allow me to fly solo as a student pilot. And then once you graduate, those will change. But for now, I need those. my flight bag, which has my notepad, my pen, first aid kit, flashlight that really only matters if I'm flying at night, my headset, just because you don't want to look like a dumbass and not have them. And then I don't have an ADS-B antenna. So that would be everything there. And this conveniently jumps back up to anything you haven't checked off, which is cool. So then I would plug this in. And then the day before, or a lot of times the day before, like the evening before, right before I go to bed, I can complete this checklist. But I really want to do it close to the time of flight. So do I have any injuries that will impair my ability to fly? And so like, since this flight is like 5-6 days from now, I definitely don't want to do this because I could easily like fall and twist my ankle or get in a car accident or something like that between now and then. But the night before, when I'm going to bed, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get injured between then and the flight. So I don't have any injuries that will impair my ability to fly. Have I taken any medication in the past 24 hours that will impair your ability to fly? No. Am I stressed? No. Alcohol, 24 hours between from bottle to throttle, so that would be no. Have I had a good meal? Being hungry can mess with your emotional state and cause you to make you can make like rash decisions, stuff like that. And you just don't think clearly. It's a constant distraction that you a lot of times may not be aware of. Fatigue, did you get enough sleep, and then emotion, are you upset? So again, I wouldn't check these all off right now for this flight. It's a week from now. So I can just reset this one. And then pre-flight, this is actually at the plane. So I won't do any of that right now. So that will be it. This took much longer than usual. It's normally an hour, and it looks like today was 2 hours, and that is because I did do a little bit more by looking at the other airport, but even still, that should not have, that doesn't normally like I've planned like three destination routes in an hour and 15 minutes. Doesn't normally take that long. I don't know what's going on with my pen. That was and is extremely frustrating. I don't understand what's going, like why it's being so fucking weird. But that was a massive hindrance to how long this normally take. Anyway, that's my process. It's now recorded for posterity, so if I crash and have an issue, people can go back and say, he made this mistake here. Although that won't be terribly helpful for this one because, like I said, this flight that I just planned is over a week out. So much of these numbers it's just pure exercise. And I would have to do it again. I would do it again, or I will end up doing it again the night before I fly. Because that's when your weather information is going to be a lot more accurate 24 hours prior than it is 6 days prior. So, and at that point, I can use information like the METAR, which is this, or not the METAR, the TAF, which is this weather information here, this colored stuff in red and pink, and then red and blue here on the right. This is reported by the National Weather Service, and it's like radar information on clouds and moisture and all that. And that'll be a lot more accurate. Well, it will exist 24 hours prior to the flight. Right now, it doesn't. This only extends out, like I said, 24 to 36 hours. Let's see. This one here reads, so for the 21st day at hour 2 of the month, and then hours 2056 Zulu. This is good from the 21st day at hour 21 until the 22nd day at hour 24. This says winds from 100 at 6 knots. Visibility is 5 statute miles. We have light rain. We have mist, broken clouds at 500 feet, overcast at 900 feet. And then we have a temporary state from 2100 hours to 2200 hours. Again, this is Zulu, so the offset is, it's either 5 or 6 hours, depending on if we're on daylight savings or not. I always double check. The winds will change, so become from 100, so that won't change, but they'll drop, or they'll increase to 7 knots. Visibility will drop to 2 statute miles. We'll still have light rain. We'll still have mist. and clouds become overcast at 500 feet. So the cloud layer will be dropping 400 feet, or the broken clouds at 500 feet will then thicken to overcast. And then from day 22 at midnight, the wind will still be from 100, will drop to 5 knots. Visibility will increase to 5 statute miles. Rain will still be light, still have mist, and the overcast cloud layer will drop to 400 feet. And that will be in effect until 0900 Zulu, same day, 22. Winds will shift. They'll be out of 140 at 5 knots. The speed will be the same. The direction will change. Visibility will further drop to 2 statute miles. Rain will go away. It'll become mist. But VCSH, vicinity showers. That's what that means, right? Near shower. Wait a minute. I forget what that means. SH is showers, rain showers. VC usually means vicinity, nearby. So I guess showers in the area. Overcast 00400. So the cloud layer will still be sitting just above the ground. And then at 1600 Zulu, the winds will shift again to out of 170 on the compass. They'll increase to 8 knots. Visibility will increase to 6 statute miles. We'll still have mist. There'll be a second layer of clouds, broken clouds at 900 feet, and another layer of clouds at 1500 feet. That's overcast. So these are all really thick. Overcast is like the sky is more than 7/8, or okay, technically the sky is 8/8, so fully covered in clouds, and then broken is 6/8 to 7/8, so almost completely covered in clouds. It's really thick. And then at 1900 hours Zulu, the winds will shift again to coming out of 180. They'll increase to 9 knots from 8. Visibility will improve to +6 statute miles. Clouds will begin to thin. At 1500 feet, they'll become scattered. And then at 2500 feet, they'll become broken. So as the day wears on, conditions will improve. They'll kind of get worse, so then they'll improve towards the very end. And of course, by that time, like this, the TAF and the METAR are kind of rolling information. So as they begin to expire, like there's always more current information. So, and then all of that is actually broken down here. Oh yeah, I forgot. I can look down here. So VCSH at 09. So that will be here. Yeah, there it is. Showers in the vicinity. I was correct. Okay. I thought that's what it was, but I'm so used to having to struggle to remember how to read these things that when it comes quickly, I doubt myself. I'm like, no, that can't be right. So anyway, so that's my process and a little practice reading a TAF, which is always fun. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Oh, there's some more people in here. Jelerency, we should have a debug session later because I can probably fix. Dude, I would love that. Am I going to do a stream comparing the numbers you got a week before and how things changed when you go through this again the night before? No, probably not. I may do a stream if I'm able to, where I'm basically going to do this again 24 hours prior to the actual flight to update the numbers. I mean, I'll be starting from 0. I treat it like as if the numbers weren't even there, and I just do it again. So today was, because the flight's so far out, it's basically just practice. Yeah, 24 hours prior, or sometimes like if I have a 2 o'clock flight in the afternoon, I may do that at like in the morning, like around 11. I may do that. So, but I don't really compare and say like, oh, what did I estimate? Because it doesn't really matter, you know. And then when am I going to fly? So the day I picked was it's next Friday, so it's a few days away. And this was just kind of sort of just practice to see, get a rough idea of whether it even looks feasible. I suspect, given all the rain we've had, I would probably have to cancel the flight. But I have nothing scheduled, so I figured I'll schedule something for the Friday. I'll go through the motions of planning it. It's always good practice. So yeah. So anyway, that's it. Again, thank you guys for hanging out, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.